It's time again for the Science Bowl.
Zoo Parade for 5. What big teeth the hippo has are actually a pair of these. Science Potpourri for 10. Would a snake most likely eat every day? Every week, Dateline Science for 10. Why are some elephants wearing necklaces these days? Green things for 15.
And now, here's your host, Mr. Z himself, Dave Zarin.
Thank you, and welcome to this elementary school edition of Science Bowl. Play along and test your own science IQ today. Let's meet our teams. First, from Phyllis E. Williams Elementary School, would you please welcome Sochima Ezenwajiku, Tren Pearson, and Caroline Chukwu. And from Turning Point Academy, our team, Tyler Campbell, Eric Thornton, and Colin Costin. And now here are the categories of questions we use on Science Bowl.
Okay, Mr. Z, here's today's categories. Green things, questions about plants and all things green and growing. Zoo Parade, a Noah's Ark of questions about animals. Body systems, we'll see how much you know about yourself, about things like breathing and growing and digesting your food. Let's get physical. Questions that test your knowledge of physics and chemistry, earth science and space science. Then there's Science Potpourri. Here's a grab bag of science questions, everything from air pollution to the kitchen sink. And finally, Dateline Science. We'll ask you about science history and science in the news.
Here on Science Bowl, our game board reflects question difficulty, with the easier questions on the left worth 5 and 10, and the tougher ones worth 15, 20, and ultimately 25, the toughest question of them all. Both of our teams start out at 50 points apiece. No penalties ever for incorrect answers. And at the end of our 2 rounds, one of these 2 great teams will come back to play North Forestville for the chance to move on to this year's elementary school quarterfinals. Make sure everything works properly before we start. Let's go to P.E. Williams and Tren. Try that buzzer for me. Thank you, young man. Good luck to you, to Sochima, and to Caroline. And Eric, would you try yours? Thank you, Eric. Good luck to you, to Colin, and to Tyler. Are we ready?
Yes.
Let's do this. We're so happy to have you here on Science Bowl today. May the better team win. We go alphabetically P before T. So P.E. Williams and Tren, let's start the bowl.
Zoo Parade for 15.
Zoo Parade for 15 points. Teams, these mammals that live in the waters around Florida sometimes lose their direction. A wayward one of these, sea cows, recently turned up in New York City. What's another name for a sea cow for 15 points? Turning Point. Yes, sir.
I defer to Tyler.
Tyler, what you think? Okay, don't ring in unless you have an idea. Eric, did you want to say something?
Sea lion?
No, not a sea lion. P.E. Williams, some of these mammals that live in the waters around Florida sometimes lose their way. One of these wayward sea cows recently turned up in New York City. What's another name for a sea cow?
A manatee.
A manatee, absolutely right. Good answer. Nice comeback. Okay, Tren, go again.
Body systems for 5.
Body systems for 5 points. Teams, if you talk about a pinky, you're talking about your little finger. But if you're talking about a piggy, as in this little piggy went to market, what body part are you talking about? Where are your piggies, Eric?
On your toe.
Your toes, that's right. All the little toes are the piggies. Go again, green.
Zoo Parade for 5.
Zoo Parade for 5 points. Teams, it has long been believed that you can cure insomnia by counting these ovine animals at night as you lay in bed. Turning Point.
Sheep.
Sheep, you count sheep, and slowly but surely you drift off into slumberland. Go green.
Green things for 5.
Green things for 5 points. Teams, if your class goes on a field trip to the National Arboretum, what kinds of green things will you see when you get there? Turning Point. All right, Eric, what kind of green things?
Plants.
Not specific enough. Phyllis E. Williams, you're going to the National Arboretum for your field trip. What green things are you going to see there? Yes, sir. Trees. Trees. Arbor, like Arbor Day. Arboretum refers to a place where trees are on display. Try again, green.
Zoo Parade for 10.
Zoo Parade for 10 points. Teams, if you have really stuffed yourself at Thanksgiving, you have eaten way too much. You are said to have been stuffed to these respiratory organs that you don't have, but fish do. You are stuffed to the what, Eric?
Bone.
Not to the bone, no. Phyllis C. Williams, what respiratory organs don't you have, but fish do, that if you eat too much, you're said to be stuffed to? You're stuffed to the what? The gills. The gills. You're stuffed to the gills. Okay, try again, Green.
Let's get physical for 5.
Get physical for 5 points. Teams, the graphite in your pencil is made of carbon, and it is easily erased. But what carbon cousin to graphite is a mineral that's very expensive and is forever? Turning point.
Diamond.
A diamond. A diamond is forever. Absolutely right. Hard to believe that a diamond and the stuff you write with are chemical cousins. Go Green.
Science potpourri for 5.
Science potpourri for 5 points. Teams, the place where an astronaut works out there in outer space is sometimes described as zero what? Zero what, Turning Point?
Gravity.
Gravity. Zero gravity or zero G. Absolutely right. Okay. 70 to 65, Turning Point, a 5-point lead. Eric, please.
Green things for 10.
Green things for 10 points. Teams, some of the cleanest looking aquariums in classrooms are those that contain the fish that specifically eat these kinds of green plants. Turning Point.
Seaweed.
Not seaweed. Good try. Good try. Phyllis C. Williams, the cleanest aquaria are usually those that contain the kind of fish that specifically eats what kind of green plant?
Algae.
Algae, absolutely right. They're called algae eaters. And of course, if the algae takes over, it gets all cloudy and green and you can't even see the fish in there. All right, nice comeback. You're in the lead. Trend by 5 points. Choose.
Body systems for 10.
Body systems, 10 points. Teams, a multiple choice question. If you go to a really sad movie, it's said that there's not a dry eye in the house. Everyone's crying. Because which of the following glands is working overtime? The sebaceous, the adrenal, or the lacrimal glands? Which of those 3 are producing all those copious tears? P.E. Williams.
Entrina gland.
Again?
Entrina gland.
Entrina. The choices were adrenal, sebaceous, and lacrimal.
Adrenal.
Not adrenal, no. Turning Point, which of those 3 is the gland that produces the tears? You may answer. The choices again are lacrimal, sebaceous, or adrenal.
Sebaceous.
The one neither of you chose, the lacrimal glands. Sebaceous glands are those that produce sweat, and the adrenal glands are within the body. All right, the buzzer has rung. 75 for P.E. Williams, 70 for Turning Point. We'll be back with round 2 in just a moment. And welcome back to Science Bowl. Thank you for spending part of your day with us. We hope you're enjoying these 6 outstanding young people from 2 outstanding schools. Let's go first to Phyllis C. Williams. P. Williams has been a guest on our show many times in the last 24 years. We always love to have you come back. You're wearing your matching shirts over there. The Wildcats are in the house, folks. And do you have a school uniform? Would that be what you wear each day, Tren?
No, I'm wearing my school shirt currently under my shirt.
Yes.
It's blue.
Very good. All right. Well, you look good, all of you. And who's your principal, Tren?
Dr. Newby.
Dr. Newby. And Miss Haraway, of course, is your sponsor. She has been associated with Science Bowl for many years. We always enjoy having her. She always sends us the best students, and I know she's one of your favorite teachers. Trent, tell us any alternates you had on your team.
We had Jonathan Waldo. We had Tracy Perkins, Isis Rogers, and Joshua Price.
That's a lot of alternates. We'll bring them out with Miss Haraway in just a moment. Tell us about yourself, Trent. You're a sportsman. You like football. You like basketball. You like video games. What's your favorite thing to do in your spare time?
Draw.
Draw. Wow. What kind of things do you draw?
I just draw like anything.
Just anything. Now, I know your teammate Soshima also draws, and I asked her earlier, when people see what you do they remark on your talent? And she said, yeah, they do. What kind of things do you draw?
I draw anything that has interest. I draw people, plants, places.
Yeah. Do you come by your talent naturally, or have you always kind of worked on this as a skill?
Come by naturally.
Yeah, well, that's great. That's something a lot of us envy. What would you like to do someday? Would you like to be a professional cartoonist or a graphic artist?
No.
Cardiology, right?
Yes.
Yeah, we had talked earlier, and she aspires to that. What got you interested in that?
Well, I've heard that a lot of people have started getting heart disease and stuff, and I wanted to be helpful, so the best thing I could do is become a cardiologist and help them out.
Absolutely right. And health care is so important in this country, and heart disease and cancer are right up there, #1 and #2 killers. So if you can help preserve and enhance someone's life, we're in your debt. Thank you, Sochima. Caroline, nice to have you here. Young lady who wants to be a pediatrician. She is the oldest in her family. How many brothers and sisters do you have?
I have one brother and 2 sisters.
And 2 sisters. They all look up to big sister Caroline, and she's on TV. And you have a nice calmness about you, a nice calm nature. I can see you working with children because they can be very trying, can't they, sometimes?
Yes.
And this young lady has the entrepreneurial spirit. She has a leaf raking business that you just started, right?
Yes.
We're taping this during the fall, and there are leaves everywhere. Do you have a lot of customers?
Not at the moment, but we're planning on getting some more customers.
Yeah. This is the time when if you show up with a rake and some big trash bags, you're going to make some money because people want to have their lawns cleared off. You're playing a nice game. Keep it up. Let's go over to Turning Point Academy. Turning Point Academy, first charter school ever to appear on our Science Bowl program. Turning Point in its 4th year and first appearance on our show. Eric, tell us about Turning Point. Who's your principal?
Dr. Jones.
Dr. Jones. And your sponsor is Mr. Triggs, who is out there. He is so excited to have you here, and we're excited to have him and you. Tell me about your school. What do you like best about Turning Point?
Just the organization and my friends, teachers, and yeah, that's pretty much it.
That is it. You know, because in life, people make the difference. If you work around good people, if you go to school with good people, that makes everything better, doesn't it? You know, and sounds like you're in a good place. Tell me about any alternates on your team, Eric.
We have Jordan Griffith.
Yes.
And Aminata Diallo.
Yes. And thank you for remembering their names and pronouncing them correctly, and we'll bring them out in just a few moments. And Eric, tell us about you. I mean, I know you and your friend Colin over there, you play basketball together. You both like to read. You're best buds. What do you want to do when you get older?
Play professional basketball or be a lawyer.
Or a lawyer, wow. You have good stature, I can see you. You've got the height for basketball, and you're playing a nice game. You're a serious-minded young man, and you're doing real well. Nice to have you with us today. Colin, nice to have you here. Young man who has a good smile, which he's been sharing with us throughout the game. You're a reader. You like to read. Colin, what kind of books do you like?
I like Goosebumps, Diary of Big Kids, and I read like sad books, interesting books.
Absolutely right. And you mentioned that you and Eric both read the same series. What is that series?
Diary of a Wimpy Kid.
Yeah, that's great. What do you want to do someday, Colin?
Be a professional basketball player or an engineer.
Or an engineer, great. Well, you obviously have some good math skills, too, to go along with all your science knowledge. So keep up your good work. And Tyler, young lady who is a singer, yes, and appeared in Lion King at the Lincoln Theater as a what?
A giraffe.
As a giraffe. Now, did you get to pick the animal, or did the casting directors say, this girl looks like she could be a giraffe?
They had to pick what we were.
You got to pick, yeah? Was it? Ah, okay. Was it fun to do?
Yes.
Yeah? Oh, that's great. Would you like to be a professional actor or singer someday?
An actor.
Actor, wonderful. Okay. Let's get back to our game. Turning Point 70, Phyllis E. Williams 75. All the tough questions are left, folks. Good luck. We get back to the game with Trent starting us out.
Body systems for 15.
Body systems for 15 points. Teams, people take Claritin and other allergy medicines because what eye-initialed body system is sometimes overwhelmed by all of the allergens around us. What body system begins with the letter I for 15 points? Turning Point. Your answer must begin with the letter I. Yes, sir. Okay, I have to caution you not to ring in unless you have an idea. Phyllis C. Williams, what body system, I-initialed, begins with the letter I, is sometimes overwhelmed by all of the allergens that are around us, which is why we have to take medicine like Claritin? Any idea? Immune system, the immune system. Try again, red.
Green things for 15.
Green things, 15 points. Teams, the Gila monster is a lizard that lives in the deserts of America's Southwest. The Gila woodpecker lives in the same area as the Gila monster and makes its nest in what green things there? Trees. No, not trees, turning point. Phyllis C. Williams, you had to listen to the whole question. Do you have an idea of the name of the green things that the Gila woodpecker builds its nest in if it lives in the deserts of the Southwest?
Yes, cactuses.
Cactuses, that's right. Before you ring in, think first. Think about all the clues we're giving you. Try again, red.
Let's get physical for 10.
Let's get physical for 10 points. Teams, the geologically active area all around the Pacific Ocean, where volcanoes and earthquakes are found in abundance, is known as the Ring of what? All right, turning point.
Fire.
Fire, that's good. Nice comeback, Eric. Good. Ring of fire. Go.
Science potpourri for 10.
Potpourri for 10 points. Teams, they always say that you shouldn't try to invent this structure. But when they did a survey of the #1 and #2 toys in the world, #1 was the ball, #2 was the big one of these that kids like to ride on. The big what? The big wheel. The big wheel. A wheel is something, don't reinvent the wheel because it's already perfect. Try again, green.
Let's get physical for 15.
Get physical for 15 points. Teams, the weight of air can be expressed another way. The initials of it are AP, and it is measured by a barometer. Another way to express the weight of air is this term, AP, that can be measured by a barometer. Okay, Tren.
Air pressure.
Air pressure, or atmospheric pressure. That's right. Good. Go.
Science potpourri for 15.
Potpourri for 15 points. Look at the monitor in the studio, please. You'll see a group of people surrounding an instrument that they have nicknamed the Toto. It's called the Toto after the dog that Dorothy had in The Wizard of Oz. This instrument is used to measure the power of what kinds of strong storms?
Tornado.
Turning point?
Tornado.
Tornado, that's right, yes. That goes up into the core of the tornado, and it measures wind speed and direction. Okay, green?
Zoo parade for 20.
Zoo parade for 20 points. Look back at the monitor, please. We have another picture for you. This animal that is found in England primarily looks like a living pincushion. Yes, Eric?
Porcupine.
Not a porcupine. Good try. Phyllis C. Williams, this animal that looks like a human pincushion, found primarily in England, was a famous computer character. It was the sonic what? Hedgehog, absolutely right. And it defended itself by rolling in a ball, and those spines were sticking out. It actually ran at the speed of sound, which is why they called it the sonic hedgehog. Red.
Body systems for 20.
Body systems for 20 points. Teams, listen carefully now. Listen to all the clues in the question before you ring in, and I'll make sure you ring before you say an answer. Here's your question. This is body systems for 20. If you go into the hospital and the doctors have to reform the ball and socket joint at the top of your femur where it fits into your pelvis, you are getting an operation that's called the replacement of your what? You are having what part of your body replaced? Okay, turning point.
Hip bone.
You got it. You're getting a hip replacement. Nicely done. You parsed that perfectly, Eric. Go.
Dateline science for 10.
Dateline science for 10. A score update. P.E. Williams 125. Turning point 115. Dateline for 10. We'll tie it up if Turning Point gets it. Listen carefully. This is Dateline for 10. Teams, geologically speaking, after the age of the dinosaurs came the age of these warm-blooded creatures. All right, Turning Point. After the age of the dinosaurs came the age of the what?
Mammals.
You got it. The age of the mammals, and we have a tie score 125 all. Green.
Dateline science for 5.
Dateline for 5 points. Teams, the head of the Centers for Disease Control is getting a little hot under the collar. She promised that we would have enough vaccine for the H1N1 virus, but it hasn't materialized. So she is under careful examination. We are saying that she is under what scientific instrument as she is being looked at? She is under the what? Turning Point.
Weather.
Not under the weather. That's a good try. Good try. Under what scientific instrument is the head of the CDC, because she is now being examined closely? She is under the what, Tren?
Microscope.
You got it. That's right. Thank you, Caroline, for your help there. Under the microscope. Go red.
Green things for 20.
Green things for 20 points. Teams, a multiple choice question. Teams, plants like carrots that in the first year of their life germinate, and in the second year of their life they set seed and flower and then die, are known as annuals, biennials, or perennials. Which of those three is a plant like a carrot? Turning point.
Biannual.
You got that right. Bi, 2 years, a 2-year life cycle. Good. Go. Green.
Zooparade for 25.
Zooparade for 25. The big one in that category. Teams, listen carefully. Crocodiles and seals and beavers don't technically belong to this class of creatures, which is normally made up of cold-blooded vertebrates with scaleless skins. And yet, yes, turning point?
Reptiles.
Not reptiles. Good try. Phyllis C. Williams. Crocodiles and beavers and seals do not belong to this class of creatures that is normally used to classify cold-blooded, scaleless-skinned creatures, but they're called this anyway.
Amphibians?
Amphibians, absolutely right, because they go in water and on land. Seals, crocodiles, and beavers. Good comeback. Red.
Let's get physical for 20.
Let's get physical for 20 points. Teams, the space agency NASA recently sent a probe to what planet that it perfectly named Messenger, because the name of this planet in Greek mythology was of a fleet-footed messenger. Name that planet. Name that planet for me for 20 points. Turning point. Yes, sir.
Jupiter.
No, sir. Not Jupiter. Phyllis C. Williams, the fleet-footed god, that's name is shared by this planet, so NASA's probe of Messenger was perfectly chosen. Name the planet.
Mercury.
You got it. Mercury, the one closest to the sun. Good. Go.
Science potpourri for 20.
Potpourri for 20 points. Teams, listen carefully. Vegetarians do not eat meat, but some vegetarians, they do eat these things, so they're sometimes called pescatarians, because they eat what? All right, turning point.
Starch.
Not starch. Nope. Phyllis C. Williams. Vegetarians don't eat meat, but some vegetarians do eat these things. So instead of vegetarians, they call those people pescatarians. What do they eat?
Insects.
Fish. Fish, as in Pisces. 2 minutes left in the game. Go red. You have a 30-point lead. Tren.
Green things for 25.
Green things for 25 points. Teams, listen carefully. Scientists are now trying to create an artificial version of this part of a plant, the part in which photosynthesis takes place. Turning point. Yes, sir. Name the plant part.
The root.
Not the root. Nope. Phyllis C. Williams, what plant part are scientists trying to create artificially? It is the part where photosynthesis takes place.
Stem.
No, the leaf. The leaf. Go again, red. Yes, sir.
Let's get physical for 25.
Let's get physical for 25 points. Teams, in England, the White Cliffs of Dover are made up of a soft white limestone or calcium carbonate material that in your classroom on the blackboard we use this material on. Turning point.
Chalk.
Chalk it is, yes, good, go.
Body systems for 25.
Body systems for 25 points. Teams, what class would you be in medical school if you were dissecting human cadavers to find out how the human body was organized? What is the name of that class when you cut open dead people? Come on, P.E. Williams.
Biology.
Not biology. Turning point. Come on, you need these points. The name of the class where you open up a human cadaver to see how a human body is organized. The buzzer is rung, but if you get this correct, you win our game. Turning point. Name the class.
Chemistry.
Anatomy. Anatomy was the right answer, and by 5 points, P.E. Williams, it looks like they have done it. We'll double-check that score and be back with you in just a moment. Don't go away. Welcome back to Science Bowl. Hope you enjoyed this game today. It came down to the very last question, testifying to the skill of these young people. We are proud of them all. Our final tally today, what a great debut they made with 170 points. Turning Point Academy, but with 175, Phyllis E. Williams, congratulations. We're going to see you in the next round. So Chima, Trent, and Caroline, congratulations. And look at all of the alternates back there. Wave to everybody. Tracy, Joshua, John, Isis, Carla Burgess, and their wonderful sponsor, Ruby Haraway. We'll see you in the next round. Let's see some smiles over here, Turning Point. What a way to debut on the Science Bowl. Tyler and Eric and Colin, and back there, Aminata and Jordan. And Mr. Triggs, thank you for being part of our game today, and thank you for watching. We'll see you next time on Science Bowl. Bye now.